Welcome to Sacred Cow Shipyards, where no ship is safe from being taken down to its nuts and bolts. I suppose after last week's episode, and how long it took, and how much of a ship we didn't talk about, I should instead focus on a single ship this week, and probably keep it a little short for y'all, just because we're trying to balance this out a little. So, this week, Hattaks, or Hattaks, or I don't know how to pronounce this word. I'm not sure anyone knows how to pronounce this word, because no one seems to know how to pronounce Goa'uld, or Goa'uld, or Goa'uld, or Goa'uld. I don't know. You Humies with your accents and your apostrophes and your weird vowel consonant combinations and all the rest of that good nonsense. I don't know. Anywho, enough about the wacky-ass pronunciation. On to the actual Hattak attack vessel. These are the primary interstellar combat vessels of the species of creatures known as the Goa'uld in the Stargate universe. They resemble a pyramid with all this crap bolted onto the sides of it. Except it's not actually a pyramid, which is where this all starts kind of falling apart. They're actually gigantic tetrahedrons, D4s for you gaming nerds. Now, yes, I understand that tetrahedrons are technically a subset of pyramids. However, the original Goa'uld that you squishies came in contact with was emulating the Egyptian god Ra. So all of the aesthetic of the entire Stargate universe is built on the Egyptian structure. And Egyptians don't have tetrahedral fucking pyramids, for fuck's sake. In fact, as it turns out, at least one of the pyramids the ancient Egyptians built was actually the landing platform for a Cheops-class attack ship, which literally, just settles on top of the pyramid and kind of, attaches to it and sits there as this, massive super pyramid thing. So, I mean, the five-sided pyramid structure is very clearly important to the Goa'uld aesthetic. And then we get introduced to the four-sided Hattak, which can't land on anything. I guess it lands on its butt? I don't know. Anyways, once you go inside the Hattak, all of the Egyptian motif carries over and continues, because, the Goa'uld pretending to be Grecian gods totally want Egyptian motif, or the guys being Viking gods, although there weren't very many of those, wanted the Egyptian motif, and the other, Indian gods want the... Who built these things? Well, amusingly, not the Goa'uld. There's some disagreement about that. The Goa'uld are largely scavengers. They steal technology and repurpose it to their own uses. So it's hard to say whether they built the Hattaks or somebody else did. They can build new ones, unlike, say, the humans, the Terrans from the Warhammer 40,000 universe. But they probably can't, innovate very far. So they just take the template of an existing one and just make another one. And coincidentally, the template was Egyptian, because why the fuck not? Anyways, there's not a whole lot of explanation about how Hattaks actually work. It all boils down to these wacky-ass crystals that do crystal shit and are simultaneously memory storage and computer circuitry and power sources and all these other things that crystals really shouldn't be doing. But hey, alien technology, we got to make it look cool and easy for the prop department to reproduce. Check, crystals. I guess that's technically better than the string computers from Star Trek, so okay. We do know that, however, the Hattaks can achieve somewhere in the neighborhood of 5% the speed of light at sublight. They have a hyperspace drive that does really, really superluminal speeds. They have a shielding system that can protect them inside of the corona of a blue giant for 9 hours or some nonsense, which is ridiculous. And they have somewhere in the neighborhood of 60-ish staff cannons. And this is where it gets kind of hysterical. Anyone who's watched Stargate knows that the Goa'uld love them some staff weapons. They are, as SG-1 pointed out, a weapon of terror, not a weapon of actually killing your enemy. They are actually pretty terror-inducing for low-technology societies, but they are actually terrible weapons. Now, there are the staff weapons that are carried around by you Humie meat sacks, and they do look kind of like staffs. Fine. The staff cannons are the things that are turret-mounted on the ground, mounted onto the Death Gliders, or apparently mounted onto the Hattaks. Yeah, you understood that right. They use the same weapon for their manned terrestrial turret and their attack aircraft, spacecraft, and their attack mothership. It's like using the Modus for all three roles. We're gonna use it as a ground-mounted turret, which your military does, and a vehicular-based weapon, which I guess granted your military also does, and the primary sole exclusive weapon of your warships, which honestly, on some of your warships, the Modus is the biggest thing on... Never mind, this comparison is just getting weird now. Moving on! So anyways, these things can be tripod mounted on the surface or carried around in your bare fucking hands if you are a goddamn beast like Teal'c. These things are actually the Hatok's primary attack weapon and can do orbital bombardment. So if you've got this little staff cannon mounted on a tripod, you can shoot back at the Hatok. I guess if you had the right kind of computer and do the right kind of math, that'd be kind of cool. Idea for next season of... Well, they keep talking about doing a Stargate reboot, so who knows? Maybe the next season of Stargate! Anywho, on top of the staff cannons the Hatok has, it also carries a whole butt ton of these Death Glider vehicles, which also have their own staff cannons. So I guess technically it has a whole massive pile of staff cannons available to itself, along with a few more Al-Kesh vehicles, which also have staff cannons attached to them. So basically what you're getting out of this is the Hatok quote-unquote attack vessel, end quote, is actually kind of equivalent to the modern United States Navy's LHD concept. I mean, yeah, it's got some guns on it, yay for it. It's also got a shit ton of aircraft that can bring the hurt to you a lot more closely. Oh, and I forgot to mention the Marines. Oh, no, sorry, the Jaffa. Ignore that analogy. Anyways, yeah, the Hatoks have like 2,000 Jaffa on board. Jaffa. Yep. Again with the pronunciation problem. Whatever. The larger point is that Hatoks are not any more attack vessels than your United States Navy's LHDs or LPDs are attack vessels. I mean, yes, your LHDs and LPDs have a lot of guns on board. They're not very effective guns outside of a limited range. And that's basically what Hatoks are. They're not attack vessels. They're carriers. They're transports. They're heavily armed transports, but they are just transports. And they are a stupidly designed transport. I mean, okay, fine. If we're not going to make proper Egyptian five-sided pyramids, then why are we just bothering with the entire concept of a pyramid? Why not make something a little different and a little more effective? Why are we strapping this bizarre-assed superstructure to the outside of the not really pyramid? Why are we maintaining the aesthetic? Why are we maintaining the hieroglyphics? I mean, for fuck's sake, does Kronos' Jaffa really care about hieroglyphics? I don't think so. I will at least give the Goa'uld credit that the Cheops class warship makes sense in that it was designed to settle on top of the pyramids that you squishy humans built once upon a time. I mean, if there was ever a landing platform that deserved respect, those fucking pyramids are it. I mean, here I am fucking about in a goddamn interstellar shipyard, and damn, I would love me some fucking pyramids. But still, why are you going to bother pretending you have this ancient Egyptian aesthetic and then not maintain it? And then why are you going to take this ancient Egyptian aesthetic and impose it on Baal or Kronos or all the other various gods from all the other various religions? I mean, they're not actually gods, but do you get my point? And then, I mean, yeah, you great. You have staff cannons. Good for you. So does your death gliders, and so do your landing craft, and so do your fucking troops in your goddamn ground. I mean, don't get me wrong. Hatoks are utterly terrifying if you're like a Stone Age fucking civilization. But, well, there's a reason the Goa'uld lost in the end, and it wasn't just because they were goddamn dumbasses, even though they actually, honest to God, were. So, take that for what it's worth. And that's all from Sacred Cow Shipyards. Please be advised that any ship left on the dock for more than 24 hours will be compressed to a cube. Have a good day.